Welcome to the Magic Channel.
All right, today we are jumping into a really powerful poem called The Ballad of the Weeping Stylus. At its heart, it's a story about what happens when a society loses its creative soul and the desperate fight to get it back.
Now, we're actually going to start at the end with the final incredible line of the poem, because this one sentence, it's the key to everything. It's making this huge claim that our ability to create is tied directly to our ability to feel, to connect, and, to be fully human. We're going to circle back to this, so just keep it in the back of your mind as we go. So the poem kicks off by painting this picture of a kind of golden age, a time when art wasn't something you just went to a museum to see, it was something you lived and breathed every single day. I just love this line. It so perfectly captures this idea that creativity wasn't some separate, highbrow thing. It was fundamental, like farming or cooking. Art just grew totally organically from the experiences of everyone everywhere. And you can almost feel the art it's describing, right? It was absolutely everywhere. In stone carvings, in graffiti etched on ancient rocks, in folk songs that workers made up on the spot, and even in the simple riddles told to kids at bedtime. This wasn't for some elite club, it was the very fabric of life for everybody. And here's the thing, this art wasn't just for decoration. It had a deeper purpose. It was a source of wisdom, their lanterns in the dark, and it was a moral compass, their guide. This creative foundation made the whole community incredibly resilient, emotionally strong, able to handle pretty much anything life threw at them.
And then something new shows up, technology. The poem talks about the first radios and newspapers, and at first they're not a threat at all. They're actually a force for good. They spread all these stories and songs even further, breaking down the isolation of faraway villages and connecting everyone. But that connection was about to change in a big way.
Okay, part two. This is where the story takes a turn, and we see how it all starts to crumble. The poem's whole vibe shifts here. It gets darker, describing the dawn of this coarse and barren age. Just look at the contrast on this slide. It's night and day, isn't it? All the values get completely flipped on their head. Enlightenment is tossed out for greed. Culture is replaced by ignorance. And that authentic art from humble hearts, it gets drowned out by the noise of fools on a plastic, borrowed throne. It's a total spiritual collapse.
So that same technology that once brought people together, well, now it's being used for division and just shallowness. The glowing screens aren't spreading wisdom anymore. They've become platforms for unripened words and ego, feeding this new culture of hollow, empty pleasure.
Wow. I mean, this line is just brutal, right? The poem frames the new cultural gatekeepers not as leaders or innovators, but as these destructive forces, silent killers who are slowly, quietly poisoning everything that's meaningful and beautiful.
And you know what makes it all so much worse? These constant, hollow promises that things will get better. Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. The decay isn't some big, sudden explosion. It's a slow, quiet death by 1,000 cuts. All while the people in charge just shrug and say, "We'll fix it later." Okay, so this brings us to the real gut punch of the poem. After showing us what was lost and why it was lost, the poet now gives a voice to all that grief, and it's personified by the weeping stylus.
So let's break this down. What exactly is the weeping stylus? It's not just a fancy pen. It's a symbol for every silenced artist, every untold story, every song that never gets sung. It represents the very idea of creativity itself, now just sitting there, dormant, mourning the fact that no one seems to care anymore.
And out of this sadness, you start to hear these questions, almost like a cry for help. The poem starts pleading, just searching for that passion, that creative fire that seems to have gone out completely.
And then the poem kind of turns the spotlight inward on the artists themselves. It's asking, hey, has the creative spirit itself been broken by all this? Has it just gotten too scared, too weak to speak up in the face of all this noise?
But this isn't just about professional artists, The tragedy gets bigger. The poem is asking if we've all lost the ability to find meaningful words for life's most important moments, for grief, for celebration, for love. Has our basic humanity been silenced too?
And it all builds to this one absolutely haunting image. Artists have become scarecrows, just empty shells that look human but have forgotten how to feel or create anything real. It's a devastating picture of total emotional and creative shutdown. But just when you think it's all over, when we're at the absolute lowest point,
the poem does something amazing. It flips the script. Part 4 isn't about loss anymore. It's a powerful shift from despair to a final, fierce call to bring it all back.
And this is the whole point right here. Hope isn't lost. The fire isn't out. It's just buried. That creative spark, that ancestral wisdom, the ember of the wise, it's still there under all the ash, just waiting for someone to fan it back into a flame.
And this isn't some vague hope for the best message. Nope. The poem lays out a battle plan, a clear set of instructions. It's telling us to listen to our heritage, to value the things we've thrown away, to wake up our own creative potential, and to rebuild trust in art and in each other.
The mission, then, is simple. It's to reverse the damage. It's about making art a central, vital part of life again, not just for the artist in a studio, but for the family at home and the community out in the world. And this is so important to get. When the poem says poetry or the stylus, it's not just talking about writing. It's a metaphor for all forms of authentic, meaningful expression, for music, for thoughtful conversation, for real connection in a world that feels increasingly fake.
And we're back where we started. But now, this line hits different, doesn't it? It's not just a nice saying anymore. It's the entire argument of the poem. Reviving our creativity isn't just a hobby. It's how we revive our humanity. The act of creating is the act of waking up our hearts.
So, in the end, the poem leaves you, with a challenge. The ember is there, the call has been made, and the only question left is the one it asks you, directly. Is your stylus ready to write? What are you going to create?
If you enjoy my video, please subscribe my channel. Please click the bell icon and the like buttons.
Thank you for watching.